Hi there, my name is James McAnerney and I've gone for my Celtic favourite 11 or best 11 for my dream team of all time. I'm going to play in a 4-4-2 formation because I think not only is it more old-fashioned traditional, but I think it's the best way for the team that I've arranged and set up for them to play in. Okay, so just fire away. I'll go for my number one. My number one would be Ronnie Simpson, obviously the Lisbon Lion goalkeeper. I wasn't lucky enough to see him playing live, but all the clips I've watched and the videos and on the internet, I think he's the obvious choice for number one. Number two, I would go for Danny McGrain. Obviously, he was picked in Beckenbauer's World 11, so I don't think there's much better than Danny McGrain. And from the earliest I can remember Danny McGrain, I think he was born with a beard. I've never ever seen him without a beard, and I've never ever seen him young looking. I think he stayed the same age since I watched him, since I was young up to being older, and he didn't change one bit. The other full back, I went for Tommy Burns. Again, Celtic legend, not just as a player, but I think throughout the whole game he was respected as a person as well. But for me, he was a brilliant footballer. My two centre halves, this will be quite controversial. Obviously, one stands out and picks himself, was big Billy McNeill, first captain to lift the European Cup for a British team, and lucky enough for us it was Celtic. And controversially, beside him I've got Paul Elliott. Now, he probably didn't play enough games for most Celtic fans, but the games I saw of Paul Elliott, and I thought he was absolutely immense. He was one of the best defenders I'd seen, and it was about the right age that I was getting really into football. I sort of understood more of the tactical side of it and appreciated the ability and the skill. And for me, there was a couple of tackles in a Rangers game he did against Mark Hateley. It stood out for me, and I'll never ever forget. Mark Hateley broke away for the halfway line, he was on himself, and Elliott closed him down. I think Hateley had about 6 yards in front of him. I'll never forget the tackle we produced, and it was definitely Hateley would have went through and scored. So that's my defence. My midfield, again controversially, the centre midfield, I would have Roy Keane. Now I know that's not everybody's choice because he came at the end of his career and he probably only played a handful of games, but Roy Keane in the two Rangers games he did play, he was brilliant, and I'm probably picking him more on obviously his Man U days rather than his Celtic days. But if at the end of the day I had a Celtic jersey on, so I'd love to have seen him in my dream team. My other centre midfielder, I would go for Paul McStay. Paul McStay for me was everything that Celtic stood for. He seemed a good guy off the park. He was 100% every time he played. He definitely had chances to go to other teams and he didn't go. So I think Celtic for him was his number one team, and unlike most players nowadays, he actually was loyal and stayed with the club that supported him as a young boy. So that'd be my centre midfield. On the left, I would go for Paolo Di Canio. Paolo Di Canio could probably play anywhere in the midfield, or he could probably play in goals, and I think throughout his career he probably did. So he would be on the left. On the right, I'm going to go for Jimmy Johnstone. Jimmy Johnstone, for me, again, I wasn't lucky enough to see him live, but I've watched millions and millions of clips, and the amount of players that he went round and round again, went back to beat him and get kicked over the park, and he still managed to keep going. He never went down. Like people talk about players diving nowadays, but Jimmy Johnstone, I don't think he knew what diving or going down was. He just kept getting up and going and going and going. Up front, my two forwards, he should be number 10, but I'm going to make him number 7. It's HENRIK LARSSON. For me, the King of Kings, HENRIK LARSSON, for me, was the best player I've ever seen in my life. Skill, both feet, with the head, his work rate for the team. It was just absolutely everything you could want in a player. He must have been a manager's dream. He'd definitely have been, all the managers, McAnerney, he would have definitely been the first name on that team sheet. And parting him up front is DALGLISH. Again, the two of them can fight over the number 7, but I suppose there would only be one winner there. Number 7 would be DALGLISH because he's from Glasgow, so he'd have definitely done LARSSON in because they're Swedish and they're not into fighting and that. I think they're into like fondues and all that. So DALGLISH would be up front with him, and I think that setup, there wouldn't be many dream teams in the world that could actually match that. Because not only have you got the power with big ELLIOTT and McNeill, you've also got the hunger of Roy Keane, and the skill of LARSSON, and DALGLISH up front would tear apart any other team. So that's my dream team. Hope you agree with it. Obviously, you might know some controversial decisions anyway, Roy Keane's and that, but that's my dream team, and hopefully you can maybe better it, or you can try and take them on if you want. Thank you.